Hi, guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Deep Dive. So, today we're speaking to a good friend of mine, someone that I presume you've heard of. He hasn't been into magic that long, but he seems to have smashed onto the scene, and we have just released one of his products. But before we get into the deep dive, if you haven't done so already, please hit that, let me press the button, subscribe button, notification bell that way, and you'll be notified every time we go live right here on our YouTube channel. And if you don't follow us on our socials, pop over to Alexander Magic Limited on Facebook, give us a follow us and subscribe on YouTube and on our Instagram, where Harry posts a new magic video almost every single day. So we hope to see you on there. And before we go any further as well, just to let you know, Alexander Magic have now got a USA dispatch center. So we are sending a lot of products to our US customers direct from within the US, which is great. Anyway, without further ado, let's introduce our special guest today, and that is Chris James.
Hey, Peter.
Hello, mate. How are you?
How's it going? Good.
So, Chris, firstly, congratulations on Squint. Such a fantastic effect. And I remember how I felt when you first showed me it. It blew me away. But before we get into talking about Squint and seeing the trailer, tell us a little bit about yourself, because I got to know of you through Craig Petty, and I believe this was either last year or the year before. It was pretty recent. So give us a bit of your history. What's the history of Chris James and getting into magic and everything?
I never liked magic when I was younger or anything. It wasn't like well, actually, I lied, because I found a letter that I wrote to my dad when I was my mom wrote it for me when I was 5 or 6. And in there it said, "Okay, Dad, love you. I'm going to get back to my magic tricks." I have no recollection. I don't remember any of that. But, for what I can remember, I didn't really enjoy magic in that way. I saw a guy at Disney World doing hover card, and we purchased it. A friend of mine, myself, on our way out, we were there escaping a hurricane, and we opened it, and it was just, what a hover card is, what you use for a hover card. And I said, this is stupid. And ever since then, I just let it. I was like, forget it. And then, I don't know, a few years ago, I think it's like 4 years at this point, I was talking to my sister about AGT. She's like, I wonder how they do all that magic. And I was like, I don't know. I said, it can't be that hard because the hover card. And she was like, I don't know. I feel like it's hard. And so I said, I'm going to go get a deck of cards. And I went and grabbed a deck of cards from the store. I didn't even own one. And honestly, I kind of got obsessed with it in that first week. And I just wanted to learn it by everything that I could possibly learn it by. And from that point, it's been, I saw quickly that I had a knack for magic, meaning, I wouldn't say knack. I would say I had a love for it that I didn't even know that I had, as much as I love playing guitar, music, and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where it started and where I'm at now. It's just been a ride ever since.
Well, you've certainly hit the ground running, and I can really appreciate what you said about hover card as well, because how many people have seen that thing, and it's the most amazing effect in the world.
Yeah.
You open a pack and you go, yeah, no, I'm going to put that in the drawer. And it's such a shame because it's such a great effect. And when you see the demos do it, it's like real magic. It's so cool. But I can really identify with that.
Well, it's sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say about the hover card. The guy who was demoing it was really good with it, and he did something that sold me. And it was, he had these, and this was back in like 2002. He had these little LED lights that he put on the ends of the card, and he said that that's what's making the card float. So in my head, I'm like, I need those lights. So I was expecting these lights that made it float, and it wasn't. But it actually ended up making my good friend fall in love with magic from that point. Like, he loved it, and then he ended up being a magician, and then we had to talk to him 15 years, and now it's like, hey, I remember he used to do magic, and he was all into it. So it was weird, like two best friends that hadn't talked in years, all of a sudden back together for magic, which is crazy. But, yeah.
So does he still do magic?
Oh yeah. He's a gold member with Craig and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
He's setting up a stage show. But yeah.
brilliant. So the thing is, when we met, like I said, it was Craig Petty that put me in touch with you because I think he's been mentoring you and helping you out. But you've really, I can't believe it's only been 4 years, for one.
Yeah.
Not only with your skill level, but your creativity and understanding of the structure of magic. And I do wonder whether some of that is due to you playing an instrument, understanding how bars, beats, and everything else go together. Because, when I was younger, I owned a recording studio and I've been into music all my life. I can't play an instrument, but I used to be a sort of scratch DJ and stuff like that. So, believe it or not, I've still got the turntables.
Are there videos out there of this?
Yeah. Then I don't think there is, actually. I was in like the DMC championships and everything when I was 20 and 21. But I do think because of doing that mixing and everything else, it just gave me that logical way of thinking how things connect together, how to, when you're putting a record together or you're putting a track together, it has to build and it has to get the momentum, and you have these different sections that fit together. And I do think that really helps with being creative and understanding the creative process and the impacts of how a trick should build. Rain, am I talking rubbish, or do you think?
No, because I've met many people that are that I noticed some of the most creative people I know play an instrument, like Nicholas Mavresis. I mean, look at him. Look how creative that guy is. He plays instruments. It's just, I feel like they're connected in a lot of ways. Doesn't mean people that don't play instruments aren't creative, because they are. But I'm just saying, I feel like there's like a little group of people, like the ones that play instruments and create magic, just like this understanding with each other for some reason. I don't know. Like, I always agree with them and get their thinking level and stuff like that, which is good. And it's probably, I'm not saying it's any better than anyone's thinking level. It could be worse. I'm just saying that we have, I don't know. I just like speaking to a solo magician and musician.
Yeah. And when you hear people describe magic or explain tricks, they usually refer to, and we'll miss a beat here and take a beat here. And it does feel like, when you're performing, it does feel like that sort of musical, sort of musical structure that goes on. But so with regards to you and your magic at the moment, your skill level is very high, I would say, for someone that's been doing it for 4 years. How often do you practice? What is it? What's your sort of regime when it comes to practicing and learning new stuff?
I think practice is the most important thing. I don't know if, I've never really talked to other magicians about this, but I'm assuming, unless I'm just crazy, you guys like always have a coin or cards, right? Like, are you ever like not holding something? Peter, is that how you are? Or do you always have something? Or you?
Yeah, I've usually got a pack of cards on me, or definitely have some coins on me. Now.
Okay, so yeah, I think the practicing is, but here's the thing. I wanted a very, very good I knew right off the bat that I wanted a good foundation for this, because I knew I loved it, and I was like, I want to start like with the basics. I spent a month learning how to hold a deck of cards. I'm not even kidding. I didn't know if I was left or right-handed because I had never done anything like that. So right-handed felt good, left-handed felt good. I was doing it right-handed for about 2 weeks, and then I noticed everyone's holding the deck in their left hand, so I'm like, I'm doing it wrong. So I switched to the left hand. I've been left-handed ever since, but I focused on all those things, like the overhand shuffle. I wanted to learn the overhand shuffle. Like I wanted to be able to take a card and control it wherever I wanted to. I wanted to learn how to call cards. I wanted to learn until I just wanted to learn all those pinky count, like everything. And I think that taught me how to practice, because I do practice a lot. I think you can attest to this. You always say, "Do you ever sleep?"
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't.
No. And yeah. And a lot of it's because I'm standing up. I have my table, my thing, and I'm just like practicing things, coming up with things. I do that, and then I try to set a half hour every day to create something, which is I take 3 objects. I recommend anybody do this. And I have a half hour to come up with something, even if it's the crappiest thing in the world. I got to create something, and I think that helps with everything as well too, because sometimes you have to learn skills when you're creating. It all just goes and flows together, but practice is very important, and setting aside time to practice,
Yeah.
every day.
I agree. I think the more you get into magic, I must admit, I went through quite a long period of time where I didn't really practice. I did what I did, and I was quite happy with it. But since lockdown, I think I found a love for it again. I've now got a table set up in the front room, so if we're watching TV and the ads come on, I'll just stand up and run through something that I'm working on. Or if I'm editing and I stick the video on render, I've got 5 minutes, I'll stand up and run through something. I think I refound a love for learning magic that I enjoy, rather than just learning it because I need to know how to dem it, and it's, something I have to show in the shop. Actually learning magic for me, I think, was a lockdown thing, and I don't think there's any better feeling really than learning something that you want to learn and managing to nail it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I don't think it's just magic either. I find myself trying to learn, especially on YouTube and all. I like learning about all kinds of stuff, how to stain wood and how to do this. So, but I've always kind of been like that. But when it comes to magic, there's like this extra thing that I can't really explain. It's funny because I didn't even know I liked magic. It just kind of came out of nowhere for me. But
well, it's good, and it's good news for us that you do, because you are great. And is this your first release, Squint? So this is your first release. But you
official release. I did. Yes, I put a free trick out on Penguin that did pretty good. Actually, it's on the Alakazam website as well.
And what was that called?
Pop Wild. And so I know that I have a lot of people that follow me that are new into magic, and because they message me and ask me questions and blah, 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 because maybe they can relate, right? Maybe relate more to me than, Paul Gordon. You know what I mean? Because they feel like, wow, look what he did. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's new, and so they'll ask me questions, and I think that's important. What I did there, which was release a free trick instead of charging for it, because I kind of thought about it, and I was like, who am I to charge anything? So I wanted it to be free, and it did well. It has like 55-star reviews, and I'm proud of it. It's just a fun little thing I came up with, and so anybody listening that's new into magic, I think that's important. Don't be afraid to put something out there, but I also think there's something to say about charging $20 when, there's downloads that you have from legends that are less than $20, so be aware of that,
Yeah, I think you did the right thing, and it was, it's quite a weird step to take, to say, I've got this trick, but I'm going to give it away. But in the long run, I think it done you a lot of favours
for
as well,
sure.
because more people get to know you. You are a creative guy, so this was one of many. All right, if you're only going to ever create one trick in your life and it's going to be a killer, then why give it away for free? But if you are a creative, what better way to get your name out there, get yourself known in the community? And I do know that since you've been into magic as well, you've got a solid group of magic buddies now. I mean, I was speaking to David Jonathan this afternoon, who's a good friend of both of ours. And, you know, everyone that I speak to always mentions your name. Oh, you're working with Chris. You're working with Chris. And it's like you really sort of branched out, and you've got a lot of respect from guys that have been in the business for a long time, which is no easy feat.
So yeah, Justin Miller, he'll say something about Paul Harris gave me this advice, and for me that's like a pinch me moment, because and he'll say like I don't share this with anyone, and he'll like let me know like you realize how awesome this is, you know. And I know I do realize how awesome that is, and I feel like it just comes from being nice, man. And like I don't ask people for things. I try to be on a human level with them, you know, like happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. You're going into surgery. Oh my God, are you all right? Like you genuinely care about people, you know, and I think that goes a long way. And that's not why you do it, but it just like it's
a genuine.
You were going through something. Yeah, if you're going through something, I would hear less about magic. I want to make sure you're all right. You know what I mean? And I think that says a lot for people. And I try to surround myself with those same people, you know?
Yeah, and I think it really does. I mean, you know, even though we've only known each other for a year, I know if I've got any questions for you about your opinion on things, and I've shared some stuff with you that have been sort of private upcoming releases and stuff like that. I value your opinion. And it's nice to have people in the industry that you can share stuff to, and you know they're going to give you an honest reply to it. They're going to be trustworthy and not share it about. And you are one of those people, which is great. So let's get on to your brand new release. So this is your first public release, apart from Wild, which you gave away. I will say it's the first of many, because I know you've got a few things coming out with various people. But this is the first one that's hit the market, and it's a great effect called Squint, which is a brilliant packet effect. I love, when I got into magic, packet effects were all the rage. Then they sort of picked it up, and then they come back with a vengeance, and now people love packet tricks again. So give us a bit of a background on Squint.
So, like you were saying, when I first got into magic, the packet tricks just seemed impossible. There were so little cards and so much was happening. And I needed to know everything. I got the counts, cuts, and subtleties, but I needed to learn all of it. I even went through all the Peter Pelican stuff, which is just insane. But holy crap, try learning something from him. It's so hard with his accent and his, oh my goodness, but what a legend he is when it comes to packet tricks. I learned every single one of his packet tricks, and trust me, it was a long time to learn. But I wanted to learn those because it just seemed impossible with so few cards, right? And I started just making my own. And like, man, there's packet tricks, and then there's adding Russian smooth, right, or double stick tape. Now it opens up a whole world of things. So I was just creating packet tricks, and I wanted to. So I would go out and perform magic, and a lot of times people would say those are marked cards. So I was like, maybe I can use that to make a trick. So I was like, I don't want to do a whole deck, so I'll do a packet trick. And I wanted to focus on marked cards and explain marked cards, but I wanted it to be an ending where it was like, seems like totally ridiculous. Like, because people always say, are they marked cards? But they don't know what that even means. How are we marking them? Is it a mark? Is it a thing? So that's where Squint came to be. And it started off way different. It was all over the place. But I think that happens with a lot of tricks. They start off and then years later they change. I'm assuming with the tricks that you guys create. But yeah, I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that and make it a fun trick that can involve the audience, that can make them feel like they're being let in on a secret, but it's also ridiculous at the same time. And that's how Squint came to be. And I knew from the beginning I wanted a moment at the end that was going to be big, that had ridiculous markings on them. And I just came up with a handling that I thought fit it, fit the trick. And I wanted it to be 5 cards. I came up with handlings that were 6 cards, but I really wanted 3 cards that I can hand out at the end. Because that's important to me. I know a lot of people don't do that and can't do that if they're doing walkarounds and all that, but I kind of like, and you'll see in the trailer, JS Magic, he hands them out. I like that, where they can kind of look at them and touch them. And what's great about Squint is the markings have a feel to them, which is awesome. Which I didn't even know was going to happen, but it's there. So yeah, that's kind of how it came to be.
It's such a great little routine. And I think we should have a look at the trailer and then we'll speak a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully my button works. Squint.
What the? What? No. Yo, bro.
Can you see the? If you squint just enough, you can see the mark. Hello, Alakazam family. My name is Chris James, and welcome to Squint.
I understand how the ace turned face down. I understand how they turned face up. What I don't understand is how you lot didn't see the marks. Because frankly, each one of these marks is really easy to spot, and I don't know how you didn't see them.
Well, look at this. So I have 4 aces here. Have you guys ever heard of cards being marked on the back?
No.
So this is like secret markings where gamblers can know what the card is before they turn it over. These are actually marked. It has nothing to do with the trick, but I figured since I'm using marked cards, I could teach you at the end. Okay. So you guys never get cheated if someone tries to cheat with cards.
Yeah.
But before I
do that video, I'll be like,
exactly. You'll know. But before I do that, look, if I take the ace of spades and turn it face down on top of the face up aces, and if I spin it, I don't know how or why, but they all go face down except one.
whoa. I wasn't even paying attention.
But that's the thing, most people don't really pay attention. We're gonna go again. You just saw a red ace, but if I spin it, you see that ace goes down, and now it's the ace of clubs.
I'm so confused. Like, wasn't that just red?
And now you
My
see,
brain
look,
is not breathing.
you see the ace of clubs. Look, very slowly. It's all in this turn for some reason. Now the clubs is down. The diamond.
What?
I gotta be honest, I don't know how it works either.
My brain right now.
But here's the interesting thing. I know without turning this over, it's the ace of spades because of the marking. And you guys are gonna be able to know that in a second too. But let me do the grand finale with the aces. If I put the ace of spades now face up on top of the face down aces, I do nothing. Look, they all go face up.
Yo. Voodoo!
That's crazy.
Because the ace of spades is a powerful card, so the other aces follow it. But now, let me show you guys how to read markings. All you have to do is squint and look at the back of the cards. So guys, squint your eyes. You should be able to see that this is not.
What? No. Yo, bro. You Asian, bro?
So that's it, that's Squint. But there's a lot more to it than just one routine now, because you rallied round your friends, and we have got on their handlings from Kevin Oust. We've got David Jonathan.
Yep.
A presentation idea by Greg Wilson, is there?
Yep.
Craig Petty.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, and obviously yourself, and each one has looked at it from a different angle. Especially Kevin's, which takes it to a different level. It's a different type of effect, maybe not so much for walk around, but if you were doing table stuff, beautiful routine.
Yeah, it fooled me. It fooled the heck out of me when I first saw it. But yeah, it's crazy that I think the tutorial's at 2 hours, but it's just jam packed full of. I never expected all of this to come from a small package trick, which is just, to me, it's just awesome. People coming together and doing handlings. And I think it's important as well because there's a bunch of handlings on there for everyone, which is amazing. But the way I have it took me 3 years to get it there. And basically I would bring it out and see what the audience wanted from it. Without them asking directly or me asking directly, there was little things that I accidentally reset it one time in performance because it's just reset mode in my head. Every packet trick, if you learn packet tricks, number one thing is learn how to reset it from any point. It will help you so much when learning packet tricks. At the end, beginning, when I do a packet trick, I know where every single card is at all times. I think it's important. But I reset it in front of her, and she's like, "Wait, what happened? How'd it go?" And it was such a moment, so I added it into the routine at the end. So yeah, I think it's the way I do it is 3 years of bringing it out there and doing whatever. But the other handlings too are just super fun, and I love Gregory Wilson's idea of his twisting the aces, how he does it as misdirection, and it just goes perfect with marked cards because people always want to misdirection and then marked cards, all that stuff. So it goes hand in hand.
And you made a very important point there, actually, which a lot of people tend to miss, and that is when a lot of people, not a lot of people, there are a few people, they come up with tricks, come up with it, and go, bang, that's great, let's market it. But like you said, you've been performing this for 3 years, and you've been working it, and you can pick up when you go out and perform an effect, you can pick up bits that need to be stronger, maybe little tweaks that need to be changed to get a better reaction from your spectators. And that's the thing with Squint. It's got all the moments all the way through. Now there is something that happens, obviously, and this happens a lot, happens to every creator at one point or another. And I always see it over Facebook, I've created this and so-and-so's created something similar. And I think it was about a year and a half into you playing about with it.
Yep. Yeah, I showed somebody, where did I post it? Maybe it was that Facebook group. I did something, and somebody was like, "Oh, that's Marked for Life by John Cornelius, or a handling of it." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that. Let me go look it up." And I did, and I saw the similarities, for sure. But I also asked around to people that I trust, and people that knew John, like that were friends with John, and they basically, were like, "This seems like you're doing some really good stuff with this." It's kind of because there's that line where it's so hard sometimes, and I know you probably have to struggle with that sometimes. And man, I just feel like it should be better because these tricks will die out if we don't do stuff like let something like this happen. So anyways, I asked around, and then I think I even mentioned it to you before, but like you and Craig both didn't connect it. And then it came up from a good friend of mine. I was like, maybe you should look into this more. And I did. And we did. And the John we decided to go to the John Cornelius estate, which is owned by Murphy's, show them the trick. They gave us full blessing. And I think that was important because it's the right way to do things. A lot of people could have just released it. I mean, easily could have just released it and dealt with a little bit of backlash. But my intentions were true and honest from the beginning. And that's all I know. And I think that's important. But I just don't want people to be afraid to release things because I asked for permission. I got permission. And now what a better way to honor John than something like this, I feel like, you know?
Yeah.
And his handling was off of Derek Engel handling. But
yeah. But we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely right. I mean, John Cornelius was a phenomenal creator, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. And what you find with a lot of these older creators is their names get so diluted throughout, you know, when the tricks are released. It by the time the third or fourth version of said trick comes out, he's nowhere to be seen, and no one will ever give that person credit. You did the right thing. Yeah. You got permission from his estate. He's credited on the video, and even though, you know, Mark for Life has got its similarities, and Squint has got similarities to it. They are they've got differences, especially with all the bonus routines and everything else. But credit where credit's due, and you did that, and I think that's a very good way to approach magic and releasing products. And also it's a great way to say to people, because I see it on Facebook a lot where someone says, I've been working on this trick for 6 months, and now I found out that someone beat me to it by 20 years. And it's this thing is not unique to you. So anyone watching this that's been in that position, believe you me, it happens to all of us, where we come up with an idea, we put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it, and then we find out it's been, you know, visited before. So don't let that dishearten you, because either go and seek permission if it's an old effect. What you don't want is a carbon copy, because then it's a pointless exercise. But go and seek permission. Or if it's something that's relatively new, just, you know, bow your head down and sort of take it gracefully that someone beat you to it, and move on to the next thing. At least you know you're thinking in the right direction.
Yes, that's important. I think that's important that you said that. It's you're thinking in the right direction. You know, that's important, because that can motivate you a lot. But I think it's important. I think I wanted to make sure that, you know, that was talked about and focused on, because I feel like people shouldn't be afraid of that, because, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people that have no idea about that trick from John. Now they can go look it up if they want and learn about John, new magicians. I think it's important. But we just wanted to honor John. And when I talked to you, you know, you wanted to do the right thing as well. Once we found out everything, and it was like a no question, you know. And Murphy's was so like, you have your own things to it, like, and they even plan on possibly doing something with the trick later. So they felt it was different enough to let it go and get the blessing. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So big up to Murphy's as well. So Chris, I just want to thank you for joining us on the deep dive. I know we're going to be seeing a lot more of you at Alakazam. So looking forward to working with you again, my friend. You're an absolute pleasure to work with, a great guy and a very creative guy. So we're honored that your first release was through Alakazam.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I don't think I wouldn't want Squint belongs with Alakazam. For sure. For sure.
You're a good man. So you enjoy the rest of your day, my friend?
Oh, can I say one thing?
Yeah, 100%.
Mirage, always in my top pocket.
I tell you what, you're the same as me, mate. I carry it I love. That is the trick that after 30 years in magic got me into coin magic.
Yep. I've heard that a lot. It's always right here. I love this trick. And even if this is a plug this is the best coin set ever freaking created. This coin set single-handedly has made me way more creative because you have to be creative. You can sit there and just do so many cool things with it. And I know people watching are like, oh, this is a plug, but it is a plug because it's so good. I love this thing. You know, I needed to let you know that it's always in my top buckets.
You're a top man. But thank you very much, Chris, and we'll no doubt see you again on another deep dive.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. So,
Bye.
guys, thank you so much for joining us on this week's deep dive. We will be, I'm not sure if we'll be back next week, actually, because while this is going out, I am actually on holiday and I'm still away for another week. But I hope you enjoyed it and give Chris your support. He is a phenomenal guy, a great creator, great magician, and a great man to boot. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you haven't done so already, let me see if I can find it because my buttons don't seem to be working. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell and you'll be notified every single time we go live right here at Alakazam. So until next week or maybe the week after, you have yourselves a great week and I'm Peter Nardi. Have a good one.
I